to be jailed.
Our justice system is expected to deliver justice. But I tell you, either through some machinations or some form of orchestration, you are likely to find people who are innocent being sent to prison.
And later on, Agona West MP Cynthia Morrison denies assassination attempt on her despite attack on her supporters by alleged sympathizers of the NPP.
I did not even hear the gunshot, but seriously, the police did a good job. The way they pulled me into, surrounded and made sure I was in a car. So we would have prayed and left the scene.
We have details of these stories and many more, including sports and what is trending on social media, all coming up in the next 30 minutes. Stay tuned in. Starr News is coming to you live on Ultimate 106.9 FM in Kumasi, Empire 102.7 FM in Takrady, Zeps 95.9 FM in Zebila, Nissim 100.1 FM in Lamshao, My Star Radio in the USA, also live on Facebook on Starr 103.5 FM and on starfm.com.gh around the world. This is Starr 103.5 FM. Starr News. Informed, in-depth, in touch. You're welcome once again to the Starr Midday News on Starr 103.5 FM here in Accra with me, Dedei Tettey. To the details of our stories now, and more than 100 people are said to have lost their lives following renewed clashes in Boku in the Upper East region over the weekend. Now, the latest clash saw at least 8 people killed after gunmen who had blocked the Bolgatanga-Tamale highway opened fire at a roadblock. Now, Executive Secretary of the Environmental Protection Agency and NPP parliamentary candidate for Zebila constituency, Dr. Kingsley Krugu, says the renewed conflict has plunged the community and neighboring towns into a state of insecurity as residents take refuge in bushes. Dr. Krugu, who has since suspended his campaign in the area, is blaming government for failing to fight the revocation of the arrest warrant for a rival chief. Dr. Krugu spoke to me on the Morning Star.
And in the last 2 days, there has been sustained and continuous fighting. Scores of people have lost their lives, scores of young people, young lives. And the fighting has been extended to the road between Bolgatanga and Tamale with, assailants, people holding guns, hiding by the roadside, stopping cars, checking ID cards to identify tribal affiliation and kill. Yesterday was the bloodiest of this, and it doesn't make sense. It beats any imagination.
What would you say to people who say that government's inaction or actions have led us to where we are at the moment?
I mean, those people are right until we have answers. And I have raised these questions that don't have an answer. My party has not issued a statement to say this is what is happening. The government, and those of you who have a bigger mouth than people like me, put a call to the Attorney General and find out, let's look for answers. Look, it's worse than the picture I've painted. Yesterday, some people who were killed on the road were even mistaken to be one of the tribes, and they were not. They were killed. I have the pictures of the dead bodies in my phone.
Oh dear.
But they are not Mampusis and they are not Kusatus. Somebody has to be responsible for these acts. And this is why I issued a statement 2 days ago suspending my campaign and calling on government to take immediate action to save lives and property. This is where we are.
Well, aide to the Bokunaba, David Adoliba, believes the renewed clashes are politically motivated.
The same day, condemning the act as being illegal and a threat to national security. Now, people would like to make statements as if Boku people are interested in fighting or Kusasis are interested in fighting. The question is, how come a warrant was placed on Seydou Abagari to be arrested because it's illegal? Then today, just last on the 17th, that warrant was lifted by the appeals court. The Attorney General Department came out saying that they were going to appeal to the Supreme Court because the decision of the appeals court was erroneous. Then within 24 hours, they came out and said they were withdrawing and they had no interest in the matter. Now, state security smuggled the same Seydou Abagari into Boko, the man that they said he should not step foot into Boko. It is interesting to note that from 15 February, when the same Seydou Abagari was supposed to have been arrested by the warrant placed on him in Bolga at the High Court, for 1 full year, no arrest was effected, and he was in Nairobi. All the security agencies saw him. Today, the same security agencies smuggled him into Boko, and they started making videos insulting Kusasis, insulting the overlord, and daring anybody to step foot because they were equipped by government to fight and kill us all. This is how the whole thing started. Why is it that killings are going on in Wale Wale and nobody talks about it? And when it comes to Boko, everybody wants to say Boko people like killing themselves. It is coming from the vice president. Let's stand up and talk and face the truth. Tell him to stop, because it will not help him. There have been several vice presidents around, and they never supported their kingsmen or tribesmen to kill other people.
You had the aide to the Boko Naba speaking to our sister station GH1 Television. His name is David Addo Liba. We'll be going to Boko to find out exactly what the situation is over there. But we've also been engaging a security analyst in relation to the development in the area. Have a listen to security analyst Adib Sani, who has been reacting to the latest clash. He spoke to our sister station, GH1 Television.
Because our approach to dealing with the issue is not working, but we keep using the same militarized approach by deploying police and military personnel. You see, the issue has become so complex and it has become so multidimensional to the extent that we need a multidimensional approach to be able to deal with it. One, are those involved in weapons trafficking, those involved in drug trafficking, and even human trafficking. So the unfortunate thing is, if there's a robbery incident, someone is killed, the first question they ask is there a victim in Mapusi or Kusasi? If it's Kusasi, who is the Mapusi who killed them? Straightforward. If it's Mapusi, it is the Kusasi who killed them? Straightforward. So that is the analogy out there that is creating that cycle of violence. Then there's the issue of proliferation of small arms and light weapons in the area. The weapons they use, trust me, I even listened to my military friends who tell me some of the weapons they've not heard the sound before. People, when they are growing up as early as 13, 14 years, knows how to assemble and disassemble an AK-47. Now they use the AR-15s, they use the M16 rifles that the military uses, and even more advanced weapons that the military don't even have. Okay, so the place has become so restive, it has become so lawless, and it's a clear indication of the fact that our approach is not working, hence the need for us to rethink a new approach.
You heard the security analyst Adib Sani speaking there to our sister station GH1 Television. Let's now find out what you were saying on social media in relation to this particular development in Boko. So many lives, we are told, have been lost as a result of this renewed clash in the area. Nana Ama Akwa has joined me in the studio with the very latest. Nana Ama, what are people saying on social media in relation to this?
Good afternoon. Now, it's not the best of news that we are hearing over this past week or so. But when we move over to Facebook, we have Richard who says, "What's going on there didn't start today, and it's not looking good at all. Our leadership needs to beef up security, do more intelligence exercises, consider intrusion of foreigners and their activities, and do more on the fragile ethnic conflicts." Then we also have King Del who says this Boko issue is becoming a national security issue. Joseph says that those that are far away will think it's a joke. It's a war and an attempted genocide. The president should be blamed for everything. He has the constitutional powers to govern the country, so he cannot be going about talking carelessly. Zach says, and they just kill anyone they see on their way, whether from the north or the south, saying that it's very sad. Then Salifu says government have spent $58 million on digging a hole, whilst just $8 million could have solved the Boko conflict forever. I heard the military have withdrawn from there. Then Savani says, so what is the use of the Northern House of Chiefs? Why are they not finding a solution to this problem? What's the difference between Mamprusi and Kusasi? They speak almost the same language. Jakpa says it's very bad and disheartening. How can you allow this to happen in modern Ghana? Too bad, and it must be condemned. Yao says it's unnecessary tension. Stephen is asking what is really behind the fight. Then Akosia Mercy says the same thing. Then we have Bossman who says that it's a Baumia legacy. Then Tahiru says the way they are killing people of different types on the roadside coming from south or going to the south is not the best, and it's ignorant. It's not the best, and we should educate to help the people, not to cause a mess in the society. Well, that's what we have time for. Let's hope within the coming days we see a resolution to this conflict permanently. Okay, back over to you.
Thank you very much, Nanama Akwa, letting us in on what people have been saying on social media in relation to this particular development. Let's go over the telephone line and speak to a reporter in the area to find out what the situation is at the moment with regard to how things are going in the area. Let's go over the telephone line and speak to Atongo Idrisu. He joined us over the telephone line. Okay, thank you very much for joining us here on the Star Midday News. First of all, what is the situation in Boko as we speak this afternoon?
All right. I must say this afternoon, Boko is somewhere cool as comparing to the past few days that we've experienced in the town. It used to be gunshot everywhere, particularly when this particular time. But as I speak, since in the morning up to this time, we have not heard any bad news. Just that the youth of the area went to the Boko Municipal Assembly, locked up the office, demanding the arrest of the Seidu Abagwe man immediately. If not, they will not allow any staff of the Municipal Assembly to go in to do their official work. That is the latest news that we can confirm to you now.
But how are people coping with all the unrest in the area?
When you come to Boko, as we all know, we've been here for a long time. What is happening is that the movement that we used to see, today being Monday, you have people going to work, trying to get work, students riding their e-bicycles to school. We didn't see such movement today. And you can only see the youth sitting in their bases. We have areas where they find themselves safe, and that is what is going on here. And we can't predict what will happen. Normally, it could be this. And a few hours or few minutes, something else will also trigger. But as I speak to you now, everything is okay.
All right. Thank you very much for speaking to us. We're grateful for your time. You had us speak to a reporter in the area, Atongo Idrisu Kasim, telling us how the situation or what the situation is at the moment. You're still listening to the Star Midday News on Star 103.5 FM, and we will be Moving on to some other issues, still related to security thereabouts. We'll be talking about ACP Agojo. Now, he has been speaking to us today. Well, former senior police officer, recently acquitted of treason, ACP Benjamin Agojo, is pushing for major reforms in the country's justice system. He argues that the current system makes it easy for innocent individuals to be jailed. Now, 3 out of 6 people standing trial for treason were acquitted and discharged by the High Court in Accra. Now, but despite his acquittal, the former senior police officer fears if significant reforms are not made, innocent people or persons may be jailed. He spoke on the Morning Star with me ahead of his book launch this week.
People know what to expect when they are faced with trials in the court system. Although the courts is a place that you expect justice, I tell you, it's not easy. It doesn't always come easily. It doesn't always come easily. And I have come to one conclusion after all my trial, that it is easier to send an innocent person to prison. It is easier
to send an
innocent person to prison.
Our
profound. Justice system is expected to deliver justice. But I tell you, either through some machinations or some form of orchestration, you are likely to find people who are innocent being sent to prison. And a typical case is mine. If I did not have the kind of experience that I had as an investigator and then my background as a police officer for 35 years, with a lot of investigative skills, if I did not get my lawyers who were good and were ready to help me and sacrifice, I could have been jailed. Now, after all the lies and all the fabrications.
What you said is very profound. You say that our justice delivery system makes it easier to send innocent people to prison.
That is exactly what I've said.
Innocent people to
Innocent people can easily end up in prison.
Is it because of the, as you had mentioned, the numerous violations of accused persons' rights?
It's mostly because of the way the prosecution team can concoct stories.
ACP retired Agojo also accused investigators of illegally tampering with his mobile phone.
You are arrested for a comment on your WhatsApp platform. The BNI arrests you, and then they take your phone from you. All right?
Yes.
Now, this phone is not returned to you.
You don't know what happens to it.
You don't know what happens to it.
Whether it's been tapped or otherwise.
Whether it's been, whatever happens to you, don't know.
Yeah.
And they accuse you based on what is on your phone.
Okay.
And if they decide to give it to you, and there are instances, and I've proven that in my book, there are instances that when it is even returned to you, they flash all the phone, and so you don't have any information. And so when they accuse you, you are unable to get the circumstances under which you made those statements. And therefore, you have become so vulnerable that
you're helpless.
You are so helpless. And so their lies stick. Now, in my case, I resisted the attempt to take my phone.
Because you know the law.
Because I knew what I was about.
Yes.
You understand? And when they tried to take it, we made a lot of noise about it until it was returned to me. Secondly, they will accuse you on an issue which they have not disclosed. You know, the law now is that there must be disclosures.
Yes.
So they intentionally they deny you of some disclosures which they will not do. And yet they will use those disclosures as basis to accuse you if you are not very intelligent and very diligent and very fast to realize that, no, what you are accusing me of has not been disclosed. You are going.
You had the ACP retired Benjamin Agojo speaking to me earlier on the Morning Star today. You're still listening to the Star Midday News on Star 103.5 FM. Let's talk about the Afro Barometer and what the latest findings are. Well, the presidency, tax officials, MPs, judges and magistrates have been cited by many Ghanaians to be the most corrupt institutions in Ghana, while institutions such as the Ghana Armed Forces, traditional leaders, and non-governmental organizations are perceived to be the most trusted public institutions in the country. Additionally, 7 out of 10 Ghanaians believe that the level of corruption in the country has increased, with just a quarter of the population believing people can report corruption without fear of retaliation. Now, this is according to Pan-African and Non-Partisan Survey Research Network Afrobarometer. Director of Research at CDD Ghana, Dr. Edem Selome, disclosed these at the launch of the latest Afrobarometer findings on Ghanaians' views on corruption. Have a listen.
Among the key findings are public institutions such as the Ghana Armed Forces, religious bodies, traditional leaders, and non-governmental organizations are the most trusted. Trust in key state institutions have witnessed a decline compared to 2022, but major declines since 2012. Among the key public institutions, the presidency, tax officials, MPs, judges, and magistrates are most widely perceived as most corrupt. Almost 7 in 10 Ghanaians say the level of corruption in the country has increased somewhat or a lot, and we see that there's a 3 percentage point increase from 2022 to 2024.
You heard there Dr. Edem Selome. She is a director of research at CDD Ghana. I've been joined in the studio by GH1 and Starr News' Ibrahim Alassan with some other highlights of the latest Afro Barometer report. Now, Ibrahim, interestingly, the Ghana Armed Forces enjoys a good level of trust among Ghanaians.
Yes, it does. As high as 65% of respondents actually believe that the Ghana Armed Forces is the most trusted institution. And so once that is the most trusted, I'm sure the question on the minds of everybody is, which one is the least trusted? And that is the ruling NPP is the least trusted. Just 22% of respondents said that they actually trust in the NPP.
Okay.
Let's come to the opposition parties.
Okay.
They were all lumped together. 28% of respondents said they actually trust in the opposition parties. And when it comes to members of parliament, they're actually second on the log. So MPP as a party is the least trusted. The second least trusted individuals are members of parliament. They've got 24%.
That's suffered. MPs have suffered.
MPs have suffered. So that's it.
And they are still suffering.
Most definitely, most definitely. That's the trust issue. From trust, let's go to corruption, right? It's an unfanciful league table, right? And nothing much has changed. The men in uniform, not the other ones, our friends. Those who are constantly by the road.
Yeah. The ones that one chief said they are always mourning.
Exactly.
So they are taking
yes, constantly. So Ghana Police Service, they have topped with a chunk of the percentage. 63% of respondents say that they are corrupt. Guess who followed? The president and his office. The presidency, 54%, and tax officials, GRA officials, 53%. Members of parliament are fourth on the log. The least corrupt will be NGOs. And finally, if we were to vote tomorrow, 56% of respondents are saying they will vote.
Okay.
1% of NDC supporters are saying they will not vote. 6% of MPP supporters are saying they will not vote.
Okay.
So that's the level of our party. And if you've been paying attention to Musa Dankwah and his works, you realize that.
Pointing to something in that regard.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim Alassan. He's with GH1 and Starr News. This is still the Starr Midday News on Starr 103.5 FM. Now, Agona West MP Cynthia Morrison says although some of her supporters suffered gunshot wounds after an attack by persons believed to be sympathizers of the governing NPP, she was not a target of assassination. Now, 3 party supporters from the camp of the Agona West independent parliamentary candidate are in critical condition after the attack at a mini rally at Agona Nyankrum in the Agona West constituency of the Central Region. The MP earlier spoke about the incident on Today on our sister station, GH1 Television.
We heard that 3 people told me that my policeman, who was sitting on top, I was standing in the car. He was lying on the top of the car. Everybody saw him. And we had police escort, like 7 or something, I don't remember the number. Policemen protecting us. And he was police, so they were communicating with him. Have you found out from the police how can he make such unfounded allegation? He got heated, so my policeman spoke to him. I said, I can put my life at risk. I've never shot for the last 3 years. And is this a crowd that we pulled in Yakro? Is it where I'm going to shoot? We went on, and then we came to report to the police station. Then I heard that my NASA coordinator was also shot in the arm. And so this is the story, the longest shot of the story.
Right. So, I mean, there was no direct attempt on your life, or no gunshots were fired your way?
No. I did not even hear the gunshots. But seriously, the police did a good job. The way they pulled me to, surrounded and made sure that I was in the car. So we would have prayed and left the scene. But nobody shot my car. That one I have to say. Nobody shot at my car.
So your supporters from your camp, including your Nassar coordinator, how are they doing now?
But I haven't spoken. I'm going to talk to them. And the people, they're my fun. Let me say that. I don't even know them. You know, when you go to a community in politics, you may not know everybody.
You had the independent candidate for Agona West, Cynthia Morrison, speaking to Lantam Papanko earlier on Today on our sister station, GH1 Television. Let's now bring you some sports news. Some breaking news coming in from the camp of Manchester United. It looks like the United fans, some of them, their prayers have finally been answered.
Yeah, I'm part of them, and we are happy. We thank God for what He's done for us.
What is happening?
Coach Erik ten Hag has been sacked. Yes, so he's faced the axe, and it's been long overdue.
Okay, is there a statement from the club?
Yeah. A statement from the club says that they've agreed mutually to part ways with Erik ten Hag, obviously for poor results, and they like 13th in the English Premier League, and it is not too well for United. All right, now let's move to coach of Bibiani Gold Stars, and he says it's too early to start thinking about winning the trophy. Don't forget that Bibiani Gold Stars beat Accra to Folk at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium yesterday, and still unbeaten in the league with 5 wins and 3 draws, and sits top of the league with 18 points. And Ghana's under-20 side, the Black Stars Light, have qualified for the under-20 AFCON after they beat Ivory Coast 2-1 to qualify for the Wafu Zone B AFCON final there. So it means they will be part of the AFCON next year. That'll be all for sports. My name is Jones Aji.
Thank you very much, Jones, with the very latest in the world of sports. Now, to some news related to the energy sector, an energy analyst, Dr. Yusuf Suleiman, has attributed the current erratic supply of power to the decision by independent power producer Sonon Asogli to halt operations. The company is unhappy over the failure by ECG to settle a $259 million debt. Finance Minister Dr. Amin Adam had accused Sonon Asogli of acting in bad faith. According to the finance minister, government was in the process of negotiating a debt clearance agreement with Sonon when Sonon Asogli unexpectedly revised his stance on the payment terms, complicating the resolution process. Have a listen to the finance minister speaking at an IMF meeting in Washington, D.C.
Supposed to pay some $30 million. Later on, subsequently, they made a case for another $30 million. But we did not agree to that. So when we finalized the negotiation with them on the arrears, ECG actually led the negotiation. And as part of the settlement, ECG wanted us to pay the $30 million they made a case for, which we did not agree as part of the settlement. And so I had meetings with Asogli, and we agreed that we would pay. But we wanted them to sign the settlement agreement because this is one of the terms of the agreement. They said, no, we should pay before they sign. But if it is part of the settlement agreement, why should I implement an agreement that has not been signed? And so we communicated this to Asogli, only for Asogli to come and say they no longer want 30 million, now they want 60 million.
You had the finance minister, Dr. Amin Adam. Let's now hear from energy analyst, Dr. Yusuf Suleiman.
One will definitely empathize with the minister. And you can understand the difficult position that he finds himself at this moment. that we cannot afford to knock out a single megabyte out of the power pool, and other than that, we'll send ourselves into doom. So, and I think that's what we're having at the moment as a result of the shutdown of a Sogle power plant. That tells us that we still have more work to do within the sector, and we need reforms that are cogent and agent reforms that will guarantee, smooth financial flow and financial sustainability within the sector.
You heard the energy analyst, Dr. Yusuf Suleiman. And just before we go to some sad news, George J. Frimpong, the assembly member for the Ogwa electoral area in the New Drabin South constituency in the eastern region, has been electrocuted while assisting with street lights installations. Now, the street lights provided by the New Drabin South Municipal Assembly were being set up in anticipation of a political event featuring the Vice President and flag bearer of the NPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who was scheduled to join a political campaign walk organized by the New Drabin South MP, Michael Otrebefi, on Sunday. The incident occurred around 3 p.m. on Saturday, October 26th, 2024, when Mr. Frimpong, while repositioning a metallic ladder, accidentally came into contact with high voltage cables. He was rushed to the Eastern Regional Hospital in Koforidua, but was pronounced dead upon arrival. His body has been deposited at the mortuary of the Eastern Regional Hospital. And on that sad note, we bring today's edition of the Star Midday News to an end. For more news, do log on to starfm.com.gh. My name is Dedei Tettey. Thank you very much for your company. Have a good afternoon and see you tomorrow.